Willa Cather is considered to be a major American novelist whose works have impacted the way Americans view the West and pioneer life. But of course, getting to that point wasn't easy. Considering the fact that she grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere and wanted to become a well-known writer, damn, talk about goals. But I am focusing on all that farm to fame crap. I'ma focus on Cather's life, book, and legacy. That's it, take it or leave it. And just as a side note or spoiler alert for those who have high expectations, I'm not singing. And I am definitely not speaking in a hardcore Western accent as it would perfectly fit the theme. But really, an Asian speaking in a Western accent, that just doesn't make sense. So here we go, let's start. Willa Cather was born on December 7, 1873 in her grandmother's home in Back Creek Valley, Virginia, and she was the eldest of 7 children. Now you're probably thinking about the year 1873. Ha! Shout out to A. Bush with Krasinski and the Panic of 1873. Then again, whoever cared about all that stuff in the first place? Anyways, Cather then moved to the little community of Red Cloud, Nebraska, where she obtained her inspiration for her future novels. After graduating from the University of Nebraska with a major in English literature, Cather's career began in writing for various magazines such as the Nebraska State Journal, Home Monthly, and McClure's Magazine, all of which were important steps to her writing success. As the years flew by, and Cather thrived in her job as a magazine editor, she realized that writing magazines all her life was just not her thing. And why, you ask, did she come to that realization? I'll tell you why. It's because of this lady, Sarah Orne Jewett. Yeah, and God bless this one-of-a-kind soul, because if it weren't for her, Willa Cather would have stayed in that magazine industry living a life that would straight up suck because she got no fame and no purpose. So this Jewett lady got Cather back up on her feet, changing her career path from writing magazines to writing novels, and before you know it, within a few years, Cather be writing novels like there's no tomorrow. And what was the best novel that she had ever written? It's obviously My Antonia, which is a given. Why? Because it just is. It embodies everything that an adventurous reader could ever long for. Romance, adventure, tragedy, nostalgia, you name it, this book has it. But to give a better view of the work as a whole, let's dive into the plot. So we have the main protagonist and narrator, Jim Burden, who Cather uses as the main focus of the story. Jim moves to Black Hawk, Nebraska to live with his grandparents. Not to mention that both his parents died before the story even began. Sucks for him. And he starts off feeling isolated from society as well as depressed due to the dark and empty vibe the environment was giving off. Then he meets Antonia, and as you all will see when you read the book, you will begin to notice a change in Jim's feelings and attitude towards the Nebraskan frontier. He becomes attached to the land, and the land itself becomes a symbol of his childhood. I'm not going to say more than that, but might as well just wrap up everything by saying that My Antonia is a novel that encompasses the idea of memory and how the past can have a major impact on the future. And ever heard of the saying, home is where your heart is stuff? Yeah, that has a huge role in this novel too. The end. Hold up, what about Antonia? Is the novel not called My Antonia? Oh yeah, don't worry, I didn't forget about her. So Antonia is another prominent protagonist and symbol in the novel. Why symbol? Relax, let me give you some background info first. Antonia Shimerda is a bohemian girl who moved away from her home country to Black Hawk, Nebraska, just like Jim. Then she meets Jim, and as the book progresses, Jim's relationship with Antonia becomes just as strong as his relationship with the land. This is where the romance kicks in. Do Jim and Antonia end up together? Well, I'll let you guys figure that out once you read the book. Antonia goes through a lot in the story, especially when her father dies. Well, more like he commits suicide. Then he dies. Yeah, I'll give you that one. It turns out that after moving, Antonia's father could not handle living a new life in a new world. It was just too hard, hence a suicide. As a result, Antonia is forced to mature at an early age for the sake of caring for her family. On the bright side though, later on, she realizes that her father is always there by her side anyways, and his spirit will forever dwell in her heart. Aw, how cute, right? So why is Antonia symbolic? Well, you'll notice when you read that Antonia is a symbol of happiness, joy, and perseverance. She's like that ray of sunshine throughout the entire novel, even despite her father's death. Also, Antonia is just the embodiment of the American pioneer in general, in which she puts herself on a journey to become a strong and independent individual, learning to survive on a land that remains unfamiliar to her. Some readers argue that Antonia would have been a better narrator than Jim, since the book also focuses on Antonia more or less. But let's be real, considering Cather's awesome style of writing, switching the narrator position would not make any difference to the novel. And even if she did, the novel would still have the same values and significance anyways. Now you're probably thinking, what will I learn from such a novel? Well, for one, you will learn that home really is where your heart is, and it will forever stay there, because no matter how far you go, you will always end up missing home. Okay, maybe some of you won't miss your families at home, but I'm talking about the comfortable environment of home and the memories you made there. Furthermore, no matter how much you love or hate the past, you'll never forget it. Again, it will always be there stored away in your memory somewhere. Those are the main morals you will learn from this amazing novel. Aside from being lazy, you cannot find an excuse not to read My Antonia. Trust me, this is one of those works of art that will change the way you see things. That's one reason. Second, this novel is on Miss Ajadi's list of top 10 novels anyways, and you can't argue on that. You just can't. There's so much to say on My Antonia, but I'll stop here for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!